The views and opinions on the Craig L. Hayes Show do not necessarily reflect those of Westgate Resorts ownership or management. And now, on with the show. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hey, we're back. Listeners all around this planet we call home. I didn't go through the whole thing. Okay, I will, fine. Hey, welcome America to family, friends, and listeners all around the planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show. I am Craig L. Hayes. We're going to continue on here with Beau Doyle on our talk about showbiz, behind the scenes, and all the stuff that we do, the work that goes on. He's actually a performer, works behind the scene. I was a performer in my younger years, doing a unicycle act and singer and all the stuff I used to do, and then decided behind the scenes was probably a much longer longevity of a career than riding a unicycle. So that's what I decided to jump into. Anyways, we are here at the Westgate Resort, Las Vegas, in Elvis Presley's dressing room, and we have Barry Manilow's room right next to us. The two most performances of anybody that's ever worked in this place, and we are so glad to be here, and we're happy we were allowed to be here. Anyways, Beau, we finished off that you were basically going to start coming and working here at what at the time was the Las Vegas Hilton.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yep.
It's changed names a few times. It was originally the International Hotel, and then it became, in '74, the Las Vegas Hilton. And then in, 2008, somewhere around there, it became the LVH. And then Westgate Resorts, David Siegel bought the place and turned it into the Westgate Resorts. So it's gone through a few different names, but our work is still the same. Show business, our work doesn't change. It's still got to bring the show in, set it up, do the show, and tear it down and load it out.
That's it.
When it comes down to a nutshell, that's basically all we do.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, exactly.
You know, now some of these shows we load in may sit here for a few years.
Right. Yep. Load in, play, load out. That's it.
But that's about all it is. And, some shows last one night. Some shows, last years.
Yep.
Like Jubilee lasted, 35 years? Follies, 40-something years.
Right, yeah.
I can't imagine that.
It's crazy because we don't have any true Las Vegas shows anymore. They're all gone.
The old Las Vegas reviews, the topless reviews with feathers and dance numbers, those are all gone.
What Vegas is known for, they're gone.
Now it's all Cirque du Soleil and headliners,
Yep.
Yeah, it's a transition, but I think it had to. Let's be honest. I think to a certain degree we had to have some change. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect people to continually come back to Vegas and see
especially
the
for that long
same stuff.
Yeah.
There's got to be a variety. Now we've got professional sports teams now, and we're moving on to our next one. What baseball is going to have their stadium built here in about 3 years, and we'll have pro baseball. We have pro hockey. We have pro football. Basketball's next. They are looking for a basketball site because Las Vegas is next. Is first up on the expansion when they do the expansion draft for the country. So the NBA. So Vegas is going to be just like any other big town, a sports town.
Yeah.
Good. Mine is bring the more stuff we have here, the better. I just wish we had some of the at least one. That would play once in a while. A Jubilee or something that was still going somewhere.
Yeah. At least one. I think there's there used to be a show, I think it was called Just Vegas, that was over at Planet Hollywood in one of the real small rooms, because they have a bunch of little theaters over there.
Yeah.
I think there's still a Vegas-style show that's there, but I haven't heard anything about it in a couple of years, so it might not be there anymore. I don't know. But we just don't have the old school shows that Vegas was known for.
Yeah, clubs and stuff, they still do some of that stuff. They still do, they put on the risque things and stuff like that. Right. But that's in the clubs. Right. When we're talking major hotel showroom productions, right. You just don't see that anymore. we went through a phase where almost everybody had a magician.
Yes. Yep.
You
Yep.
know, and we've had several of them here. We went through phases where, well, we're still in the phase of Cirque du Soleil. You know, how many was there? 6 Cirque du Soleil shows, different ones around town or something like that. That's a lot of shows, you know. And you know, it has to change. You know, you're either going to adapt, change, or you're going to be a dinosaur and die.
Right.
So I understand it, but it's like, man, I sure miss some of those old Vegas type
Yes.
shows that I had worked in my younger years.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I came into the hall in 1980, and you know, I did 44 years in the 44 years.
Wow. See, but it's funny too because there's a few things on Instagram that pop into my feed, like old school Vegas, and to know the history in this town for entertainment, they used to have shows at 2:00 and 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like that to me, you know, because I came up and I did the first major show that I did was EFX over at MGM back in the middle 90s. And we were like, oh gosh, we're not going to get off till, you know, 11:30, midnight. Well, shoot, back in the 60s and the 70s, they wouldn't start shows until midnight, 2, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
You're thinking, holy cow. And I remember growing up and going out to jam sessions with my dad at 9, 10, 11 years old, playing until 2 or 3 in the morning and going home.
Yep.
You know, so I had an abnormal childhood, so to speak, compared to most of my friends because I'm out with all
Yeah.
these adults playing music as a child.
Yeah.
Literally as a child.
No, I get that. Yeah. No, it used to be, and I remember, you know, every hotel, every performer, every night, it was 2 shows. Every performer did 2 shows a night, 6 nights a week.
Yes.
7 nights was not uncommon either.
No.
And it was 8 and midnight.
Wow.
So you didn't get off work until 2:00 in the morning.
Right.
And stagehands, being who we are, stagehands usually had a day job going too.
Yes.
They usually worked like a convention show jobs at some other hotel. So they'd get off at 2:00, run home, go to bed, sleep for 5 hours, get up and go do a 8 to 4 or a 9 to 5 convention job, come home, grab a nap, go do the 8:00 show.
Yep.
That's the life I was raised in. That's the one I saw my whole early life. That's what my dad did.
Yeah.
You know, my dad worked here at nighttime with Elvis and those guys, and he worked over at the Sahara during the daytime, you know, in the convention center. And that's just what it was. To me, I thought everyone's dad did that. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, everyone does that, don't they?
Yeah.
And you know, and the lounges went till 5, 6 in the morning.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
because I did the merriment. That was, you know, from 84 to 87 or something like that. I did the Merriment Lounge at the Mint Hotel.
Yeah.
And it would start at 8:00 and go till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Oh, I've played in bands I did the whole lounge thing back in the 90s where I would play that 11 p.m. till 5 a.m. shift, you know, as a lounge band. It's like, oh, it was brutal. Because by 3 in the morning, everybody's like, all right, they're so drunk, they're falling asleep or they're gone.
Yeah.
And then you're still playing another 2 hours.
Yep, just to make noise in the casino.
Yeah.
That's all it was
Wild.
for, is it makes things, you know, feel like there's life and excitement going on in the casino.
Yep.
Now you can hardly even find a live band in a hotel now. You know,
Oh,
in
yes.
a lounge, it's a DJ or it's
Yep.
they're playing videos on a big screen or something like that. You know,
Yep.
it doesn't have the same vibe. They've lost it. You know,
Yeah.
they've lost the whole vibe and the whole what made Vegas unique was Vegas was unique.
Yes.
No one else did these things. You know. And now nobody does.
No, you can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, you know, back in the 80s at 15, 16 years old, I'd go down to the Tropicana, and there was a little second story over where the lounge was back then, and I would catch, you know, Sam Butera and the Wildest. I would catch the Treniers, the old school lounge acts that made this town. Oh, I just got chills. I was able to catch that as a kid in this town. And you don't find it anymore.
No.
There's
Treniers
only
were so much fun.
Oh, they were such a great group.
Those are
Just
crazy. Those are
entertainment.
crazy guys,
Yeah,
man.
just like true entertainment. They knew how to entertain a crowd.
Yeah, and they were entertainers. They were showmen.
They didn't need all the flash and trash
No.
with the extra audio stuff or the extra lighting or smoke effects or dancers or any of that. They were the show.
Yeah.
You didn't need all that extra garbage.
No, Treniers were really funny because right next to us at the Merriment was the Kino Lounge, right next to the lounge, and those guys were like Kinoholics. Those guys played all the time, and they'd be up there entertainer, and then they'd reach in their pocket, they'd pull out their Kino ticket, look at it, look at the board, and if they won, they'd jump off the stage, run right next door, get their money, jump back on stage. That's what it was, and that was Vegas. That was so much fun.
Yes,
The Checkmates, the
Oh my gosh,
Sweet
yes.
Louie,
Yep.
and we don't have that type of thing. The closest thing we have to that type of thing going on, I've heard of a couple bands. I'm going to go check them out and see if I can get them to come in and talk on the podcast. Talbot's told me about a few bands that are still out there doing these things, and but I want them. But the one that I worked with was Santa Fe.
Yep. I just saw those guys week and a half ago. Santa Fe and the Fat City Horns. They're still killing it.
Yep.
See, and that I remember seeing those guys in the '80s over at Palace Station.
Yep.
They were the band at Palace Station back then, and they were the band in town that you went to see.
Yep, they were like the big boys out there.
Yep.
Yeah, we had them from '84 to, the whole time I was there at the Mint until I left, and I think they were there after I left. So
Yep.
Jerry and the boys were awesome. Jerry Lopez.
Yep. They're still doing it,
Yep, I haven't seen them in a long time.
killing it. Still just
I just said that.
unreal.
I could get Jerry to come in too.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a chat with him. Yeah, the old Vegas, man, that's some good stuff. So, do you remember what show we did in this room that you first came in here and started working here in the showroom?
I want to say it was one of the TV shows. I think it was either was it Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
Remember we used to do that in here basically yearly. They would come out and film a show. And I want to say it was one of those, or it could have been one of the CES setups.
Yeah.
When they used to do the keynote here.
Okay. Yeah, with Microsoft, Bill Gates, and all those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 98, 99. You were in here. So you were late 90s. You started working here because we would do CES. We do all the keynotes and then load them out. And as it's going out, we're backing up trucks and starting to load in Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or whatever it was. It would kind of rotate a little bit. We'd do one year and then one the other year. We would do Wheel of Fortune, and then the next year we'd do Jeopardy. Then we'd do Wheel of Fortune. Then we'd do Jeopardy. And we did that for 4 or 5 years. And that was some amazing fun stuff on that one. And
Oh yeah.
a lot of work though. Golly.
Yeah. Yep.
TV. The TV side is so much work, especially on the rigging, hanging all the lighting, hanging all the. My gosh.
See, but that's the great thing about this business too. If you're, and I try and tell a lot of the young kids, it's when I say I'm a real stagehand, they go, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, the essence of what we do is obviously stage, being in a theater, but then we do TV, movie, commercial, anything on the film side, I assume, and there's so many disciplines within that as well. And then you got the convention work, then you got the rock and roll stuff. And again, like I said, the stage stuff here. There's so many disciplines within this industry that we're able to do. And being able to go from one to the next and be fairly competent seems to be a lost art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, when I have worked outside here and gone and done some work over next door at the convention center or Venetian, whatever, there's guys in there that are younger people in their 20s and 30s, and here I'm the guy in my 55, 60-year-old self out there hanging with them and working with them. And they're saying, "Oh yeah, it's good to be a stagehand." I was like, "Oh really? What stages have you worked on?"
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh none. I just do all convention. That's all I do. I don't want to work on a stage." Oh, so you're not a stagehand then?
Right. Right.
You're in the stagehands union,
Right.
but you're a convention tech.
Yes. Big difference.
Because if you're a stagehand, you're working on a stage.
Yes.
You can also do conventions. And here's what I try to tell people. Almost all stagehands that work in a showroom are also convention techs. They can do all the convention work. That's not a
Oh,
problem.
yeah. Yeah.
But not all convention techs are stagehands. There is a difference.
Correct.
And you stated it a minute ago.
Yep.
It's like all flymen who work in a showroom are also riggers, but not all convention riggers are flymen.
Correct. Yep.
There's a distinction between the
Yes,
work
yes.
and what goes on. It's a different mentality on a fly rail.
Right.
But, anyways, that's the ones I try to point out to these youngsters and say,
Yeah.
you think you're a stagehand. It's cool to say you are, but it's if you really are a stagehand, you're working on a stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
And
yeah,
trying to explain all the different disciplines and saying, they go, wait a second, you know lighting? Oh, yeah, I can run a spotlight. I can run a board. Wait, you've been a head carpenter? Yep, I've run shows. Wait, you're also an automation guy? Yep, I program and run automation. Well, wait, you're also a flyman and you run all the rigging as well? Yeah, I can do all that stuff too. Well, and then there's audio. I know enough to be dangerous on audio. Well, what about the video set? Well, I can set up projectors and screens and all that. Wait, what? I go, there's so many disciplines. And if you want to work, you learn a little bit of everything.
yep.
You don't just go, oh, no, I'm just a rigger. Well, you're just going to be a rigger sitting at home not working because, they need an audio guy or they need an electrician.
Yep.
The
more you know, the more you can work.
Yep.
And that's all it comes down to on that stuff. No, it's like me. I'm actually a real head audio guy that became the head carpenter here.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
My real thing was audio for years and years and years and years.
Right.
But then I became and also a builder. I worked in the shops building shows. Can weld, can do all these things, but you have to be able to do that if you're going to have a well-rounded career and make all kinds of good money on it. And you can.
Yeah. Yep.
But if all you are is I just do carpenter calls.
I call it the one-trick pony.
Yeah.
I go, then you'll just sit at home and not work.
Yeah, unless they have a big cattle call and they need a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, because people always say to me, like, wait, you're always so busy. I go, not always. Yeah, but you're a truck driver. You're a stagehand. You're a musician. You're a cheer coach. You're a tumbling coach. Like, you're always doing something. I said, well, yeah, because I want to work. I don't like just sitting at home doing nothing. I want to get out and get out of the house at least.
You don't want to sit there and wait for the phone to ring.
Right.
You'll be sitting there an awful lot.
And, especially nowadays, we don't have the shows that we used to, like we had discussed. We don't have a lot of the big convention shows. A lot of them have been canceling lately, where there was hundreds of guys, sometimes thousands. The shows just disappear.
Yep.
So you got to do something else.
Yeah, you better find somewhere else to go work and do something else. And, the guys that work for some of the payrollers, they make good money. 'Cause the top of those guys, the cream of the crop on those, because they stay fairly busy. Even in slow times, they'll still stay fairly busy. Yeah, but if you're new in the hall and stuff like that, you're not. It's going to be slim pickings for a while until the big shows come in. And like you say, some of those are canceling too.
Yeah.
So so you were in here 98, 99 when we were doing all those big shows, and then you've run spot here many a times. You've done the fly rail. Yeah, you've done all kinds of stuff here.
Yep.
2004. Everything changed in this room in 2004. 2004 is when they signed Barry Manilow for a residency, for his first residency here. And we had to transform the showroom from a little bit of Starlight Express lighting thing and moving parts and pieces.
That was fun.
Into a showroom for Barry. And you were part of that too.
Yep. Oh, we had a good
It was
time.
3 months of 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Go, go, go. and me cracking the whip on everybody.
But see, that was the thing though too, is a lot of people don't understand those hours, but if you're with the right group of guys, it goes by like nothing. You just have such a blast. You get so much accomplished, but you have such a great time.
What part did you do? I think you were doing the rail transformation, right? You're help working on them transforming the rail back into a working rail.
Yep.
With Leo, and was TJ on that one, or?
Yeah, Crazy Leo, TJ.
There was a bunch of you. There was like 8 of you on that one.
Yep. Yeah, that was a big job.
And then I had like 8 guys out doing rigging out in the house for the passerelle and for this and for that. You know, all these different things. And
you had your hands full.
I had, 50, 60 guys working around the clock. Don Toto had a massive crew doing the electric at night.
Yep.
From 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Then our guys came in 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But I ended up staying here and being here by 6 in the morning and not getting out of here till 8 o'clock at night or whatever. Hey, when you're the head carp, that's what it is.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because Barry played here for 5 years?
Almost 5 years. It's just under 5 years.
And then went over to the Paris. So
he did 2, I think he did 2 over there.
Yeah, we did 20 months over there, just shy of 2 years. But they redid the theater over there as well for him coming in. Completely gutted it and redid it, restrung everything. Because I was over there. It was so crazy. We were doing 18, 20-hour days to get that show ready. That production actually bought me a room there because I was doing the automation. And I would go up, sleep for 4 hours, come back down and work for 20 hours. Go up, sleep for 4 hours, come back, work 20 hours for several days straight to get that show up and running. Got it running. 20 months later, boom, Barry's going back out on tour. And then I think that was in 2012 maybe to 2014. And then he came over here, 2018, 2017?
17, 18.
2017,
yeah.
I think, is when we started loading him back in, right?
And then we started, most of his stuff was already here. You know,
Right.
We didn't have to do the big transform over, so it only took us about 3 weeks instead of 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, it was 3 months just to take the old show out and put his in, and then it was 3 weeks of rehearsals.
Yeah.
And you know, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And going and going. And what a business! What a crazy thing, man.
I tell you.
But it was a blast. I looked forward to working every day. Every 12-hour day was
right.
That's, you know, because all the stuff I've done, I think that's what I enjoy the most. Those big load-ins and keeping track of everything and making it happen the way it has to happen. You know,
and again, having the guys, you've always been able to pick an amazing crew to work with. Guys that all get along and you know, no issues. Like it's wild because in this business, man, so many egos. People just butt heads left and right. But you've always picked the crews where everybody got along great. We did great stuff in a crazy amount of time. It's hard to describe for people that just don't understand.
Yeah, and so people kind of understand a little bit about that. It's, you know, you got guys trying to build sets on stage. You got guys above them trying to redo flying pieces, which are coming in and out, and then you have all this other stuff coming in. It's got to be rigged for automation. I mean, it's a dance.
Yep.
You're choreographing. My job was choreographing a huge dance. Basically, is all it was.
Literally, yes.
And keeping it in focus and happening on time. And knowing it had to be done on this date, and then making it happen. So on this date, I could say, it's ready for you to start rehearsals.
Right.
Yeah, it was a pressure cooker, but I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely keeps life interesting.
Yeah. So we started doing that. Then what else did we do in here? 'Cause you've been in here.
We did
more than just that.
You know, the Blues Bender stuff. We've done a bunch of TV stuff. We've done beauty pageants, different shows come in, or movies will come in and use the room. God, we've done so much in this place. Amazing. Tons of Star Policy, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Gosh, just I don't, so many that I just can't get it out. Your brain just, it's like, because and a lot of times is you can't remember sometimes what shows you did in what room because you've done so many of them.
Yeah. And that's the thing, when you are a stagehand, you're not going to just work in one room.
Right.
Like at this hotel. Well, today we're working in the showroom. We're going to be doing this and this and this, setting this up. But tomorrow, can you guys come back? Because, the mini room, the cabaret needs, we need to restring a curtain over there and fix this or that. Or
Right.
we need to go over to Benihana and do the rain curtain and replace it, take it down, service it, bring it down. And then we need to go out to the convention center and do,
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And then who is available to come back and do the loadout on this show for this time? It's,
Right. Yeah. Yep.
It's you can, if you get into the right groove and the hotel's got enough stuff going on, you can just stay in one hotel, but you can work in a different place in the hotel
Oh yeah. Yep.
nonstop.
Yes.
Just steady, just bouncing room to room.
I've done that in this place many a times.
Oh yeah, and it's not at that point like it was way back in those 90s and early 2000s when it was like that nonstop.
Yeah.
They just, I think they just wanted to see if they could break us and make us cry, throwing so much stuff at us.
Yeah. So, some did, but most of us didn't. We're like, hey, bring it on. Let's go. Let's do it again.
Yeah, most people don't understand that stagehands are used to abuse.
Yes.
Well,
it's funny too because early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, within the time working over here, when I had days that I could, I was over at Effects at MGM working at the time, world's largest production show. And then Bellagio opens up. They go, hey, we need convention tech guys out there. So I'd go over there and do the lighting and hang sound in the daytime from 8 to 4, and then I'd run across the street over to the MGM and work from 4:30 till 12:30. Get back up and do it again.
See what I said earlier about most stagehands having two jobs?
Yeah, that was literally that was it. Yeah.
I did it too. When you're talking about doing Mirage, loading Siegfried and Roy and stuff like that, I did 12-hour days there. I would come in at midnight, and I'd work till 1 p.m., and then I would go take a 4-hour nap. Then I'd go and do Splash, 2 shows at Splash, then go right over there.
Remember that? Yes.
I did that for about a month, a little more than a month, man. I was so dead after a month.
Oh yeah. Yep.
7 days a week. I mean, made fantastic money. Everything I made, I was buying a house, so I had to be a big whore basically.
Oh yeah.
And make every dollar I could make.
Yep.
And what I made just over there at Mirage with Siegfried and Roy loading it in, it was my whole down payment area. I was like, blap, there's your 10 grand.
Right. Yeah, I think the longest I did, I want to say in 2006. I did, I think, 43 days straight, something like that, from show to show to show, going back, flying back to Detroit, doing the auto show, coming back and putting hairspray in and taking out Rock You and going, from one to the next to the next. And I think the shortest day in that, I think, was only a 6 or 8 hour. Most of those days were 12 to 16-hour days within that time. And then I literally would only have, I think I had like maybe 2 days off after that, and then I went and worked another couple weeks straight.
Yeah.
And then you would go and work, and then you'd have 2 or 3 weeks off. And then you work for money. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not good with money in this business, this is not the business for you.
No.
You've got to be able to budget, basically.
Budget yourself and save and
Luckily, I have a wife that does that for me because
yeah.
I'm not great at it.
Yeah. And then that's funny because that's what I used to tell people. They go, "Are you working tomorrow?" I go, "Yeah, but it's just a short day. It's an 8-hour day."
Yeah, and they're like, "What?"
And they look at you like, "What?"
Yeah.
I go, "It's a short day. It's just 8 hours."
Yep.
Well, what's normal? I don't know, 10, 12.
Yeah. Yep.
Longer sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a short day. To me, 8 hours is a short day.
Well, for what we do, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a short day. Because you want to make. I love 10-hour days. Do 5 hours, take a break. 5 hours, go home.
Right.
Those 2 extra hours at overtime basically pay all taxes, everything for the week. Those extra 2 hours, if you do that for the, and so you get to keep the full 40
Right.
and you use the 10 hours or whatever, that pays all your taxes, all,
That's it. Yeah.
That's how I always figured
And
it.
a lot of people
Made
are like,
me
"Wait,
feel
what?
good that way.
What?"
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how we justify it.
Yeah, it made me feel good. I have to work those 2 hours so Uncle Sam can have his cut because
Right.
because
Yeah.
he's a greedy
Mm,
SOB. So,
yeah.
but no, it's an amazing business we're into, and so you worked at Paris. You did all that over there. And did you come back over here when we loaded in Barry? See,
Yep,
I've had
yep.
so many people
Yeah.
working in and out of this place.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's not that I have a bad memory. I have actually a really good memory. It's just I've had so many people on so many shows, and
Yep.
it's hard to remember who did what. And
Yeah.
then Leo was in the other day saying, "Oh, and I did this." And I went, "Oh, that's right, you did do that."
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
You kind of forget because it's like I've
Well,
done.
and as long as you've been over here and all the shows that you've done, all the people that have come in and out, I couldn't keep up.
No, it's here. I was 30 years here as the stage boss, basically. And, all over my life, it's like 18,000 or more shows.
Wow.
How do you keep track of all the people? And that's not
Right.
including days you're just doing work. And
Yep.
that's not, it's
Yeah.
a lot of shows. No wonder I'm having a hard time hearing in my right ear.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Too much sound pressure, too
Yes.
much noise. And Steve James is coming in tomorrow morning.
Yeah. And I can't.
We're going to be talking about sound a lot, I'm sure.
I don't know if I can justify my loss of hearing from having guitars blasted in my ears while I'm playing music, or sitting on a spotlight right in front of one of the speaker stacks running a show. I don't know. I don't know which one damaged me more.
Yeah, it all adds up. It's just it's an add up. It's not a either or. I think.
Right,
And
right,
that
yeah.
stuff. And so that was 2017, 18, somewhere in there. We loaded in Barry.
Yep.
But you've been all over the place doing stuff. Then when we're going to wrap this one up here in just a second, and we'll move on and talk about our favorite thing that happened to our country, which is a load of crap. Was then COVID struck,
Huh.
and then
Yep.
we'll go from there and what the differences we've seen over the last 5 years since COVID struck our country, and then we'll talk about what's some of the things we see in the future. What's the future hold for this town?
Right.
I don't know. We'll talk about some of that, but it'll be interesting to see what we can visualize in our minds on that stuff.
Right.
So, anyways, until then, Talbot, take it away.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.